What's up? TC here with my main man, my brother from another mother, Diego Cuevas. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. How are
this
you?
afternoon? Yeah, doing great. Tell me about how was the workout today, brother?
It was better than I expected. It's what I needed this week, especially having to do being busy with work and school and everything. This is what I needed. I needed this today, especially for cardio. I needed it.
Yeah, mind, body, spirit. It's the full encompassing success that we gain through training those aspects of our health. But Diego, tell us, who are you? Who is Diego? You got a nickname too.
Panda.
I've always been curious. Tell us about where that nickname came from.
Originally, it came from a friend named Nicole B. King. Mm-hmm. She came up with the nickname, and I never understood why. But then, it all started to fit after a while. Obviously, I'm a big dude, mm-hmm. but also I'm very playful with people, mm-hmm. Easy going. But also it transferred into jiu-jitsu very well. It transferred into jiu-jitsu very well because once I get a hold of you, I don't let go. And pandas are known for that, as easygoing, as laid back as they are. Once they get a hold of something or a hold of somebody, they don't let go. Case in point, it's a small story. There's a zoo out in China, and this guy was trying to impress his girlfriend. So he decides to jump the enclosure where the pandas are at, and there's this panda just leaning over, just sleeping. Just leaned over. He was just taking a nap. The guy comes up behind the panda and kicks him. Panda jumps up. He just jumps awake, and he looks, and he thinks it's one of the enclosure people because from the report, there's a guy who works in that enclosure, but he doesn't wear the little protective suits. He just goes in there in his normal street clothes, and he wears his gloves and stuff, and he plays with the pandas and stuff. And so the panda thought it was that guy. So he gets a hold of him and tackles him down, and the guy's screaming for help, but the panda doesn't do nothing to him. He thinks it's playtime. So the guy's not playing, so he just lays on the guy and goes back to sleep until his girlfriend calls for help.
Wow.
But also I think it's also because of my biracial nature, because being Black and Puerto Rican, my dad was very, very light skinned from what my mom told me. My mom's very dark skinned, so black and white. So that's how that came about.
That's an interesting story. I'd like to talk more about your experience with jiu-jitsu. A little background. Diego and I, we go back, 10 years when we had our facility on 84th and F out there in the Papillion area. And, I was in there doing some work, and Diego walked in and he said, "Hey, TC," he didn't know my name at the time. He said, "Hey, man, I need a strength and conditioning coach." And since that point, I've had the blessing and opportunity to work with this amazing young man, Diego. He has a genuine heart. He has an incredible work ethic, and I'm just happy that you were able to get on our podcast today, because I want to hear more about what drives you. And I know the concepts that you share with all our viewers today will also be a significant blessing to their life. But to tell us about what you've learned as a jiu-jitsu practitioner and what that sport is continuing to teach you.
Well, it wasn't just jiu-jitsu per se. It was just combat sports in general.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I didn't have friends. I really didn't. I'm just going to be honest about it. I didn't have friends growing up. So I didn't have an outlet. I didn't have, I didn't have anywhere to put my time. I kept most of myself, I kept to myself. I was always in my room growing up, which is dangerous. I'm gonna say that now. If you guys grew up in your room, or if you have kids that are growing up in their room, that's very dangerous, because it becomes a hindrance as they get older. So
living in isolation creates danger for a young person, or even an adult, because as human beings, our primary mission is to connect and bond with each other.
And when you grow up not having friends, or you grow up thinking that you have friends who turn on you, or laugh at you when everybody else is laughing at you rather than stick up for you, or when you grow up with family members who would rather pick on you than stand by you and be like, hey, leave him alone. He ain't bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not gonna lie about it. Like, that's how I grew up. I grew up in a household like where my cousins picked on me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my youngest cousin, he was always like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my oldest cousin, she was like neutral.
Mm-hmm.
There was times where she'd stick up for me, and then times where she'd be going along with the crowd, like wishy-washy. So I felt like I couldn't trust them. But it was my grandmother who stayed praying for me. And even though I was angry at her because, one, my mom wasn't around, and two, you know, I don't know who my father is. My father doesn't even know I exist. You know, and that's not to discredit my mom. She did the best that she could while she was in my life.
Look at who you became, though, man. It's just this wonderful, just wonderful human being.
And the experiences with my mom, they weren't bad. They weren't bad. We had our ups and downs, and even at the point of her death, like, we weren't talking, but there wasn't a time where I didn't think about my mom, or I wish that my mom was there so I could talk to her. But she had her own thing. She had her own stuff. And I just wish, out of all the things in the world that I could have, it doesn't matter if it's, if I could be given anything, I wish I could just tell my mom, like, I love you, and that I am proud of you, regardless of whatever complications we had. I love you, and I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of you, not just as a mom, but as a soldier, because my mom fought in Desert Storm alongside my father.
Wow. 1990s, right?
And my grandmother, she's still alive, and I'm very proud of her because I learned so much. In my teens, I was rebellious, and I got into a lot of things that I shouldn't have gotten into. But my grandma stayed praying for me. And even now, like, I stay praying for my grandma. I think about her all the time, even with my busy schedule, and I can't see her the way I want to. She stays on my mind, and I just hope, and I'm just praying for her, and her health. But all this stuff with combat sports, I didn't really think about getting into it. I met a man, Servando Perales, who owns Victory Boxing, and I met him one day, and back then I was still teenager, rebellious, and it started with boxing. And I learned.
So you started with boxing before you even got into jiu-jitsu.
And I had to learn, and I learned from him, and I learned from a few of the guys at the gym, like, you know what, you're worth more than what you think you are. You are worth so much more. And my coach in Servando, he's a very upfront dude. He's very no nonsense, and a lot of people couldn't handle it, and a lot of people stuck through it. A lot of people didn't. But he was upfront with me one Sunday. He said, man, you're going to have to make a choice. Either you're going to be out here running the streets, or you're going to be in the gym, because I can't risk having your mess fall back on my fighters. And I had to make a choice, and I made that choice. And the people I was running with back in the during that time, thankfully, I got a pass to leave all that behind. We won't come after you. We're going to leave you alone. But understand, if you decide to make that U-turn, we'll make sure you don't leave. And if you leave, there's only one option out. So I was given that blessing. I was given that choice. And I was into what I was into as a kid because, once again, as a teenager, I didn't have friends. So I sought solace in a place where, one of the worst of places. And God still blessed me to make it out through all that mess, But combat sports was like my outlet. I learned a lot of things like discipline. I learned how to defend myself and how to think. A lot of people think, martial arts is a way, kick and punch and all that. That's to get someone off you. But they forget the first weapon that they teach you to use is up here, and how to use this.
Use your
mind. You use your words, and you're mindful of what you say. Like, most of the time, 99% of the time, I can talk myself out of a fight. It's like, like, really, what are we doing? And I can talk myself out of a fight. But there's that 1% chance, and that 1% chance is very, very rare. If you push me to that point, okay, I'm gonna have to put you down. I'm gonna have to put you down. Like,
don't let the panda put you down.
Like, it's like, don't.
That's the panda.
Like
he's lovable, but also, hey, he knows when to flex his muscles when necessary.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not going to be a knock 'em out, drag out. I'm just going to put you down and go on about my way. And you know, I'm gonna check on you, of course. Like, you good? Like, all right. You know, I hope to see you around sometime, just on better terms. But you know, when I was younger, like I was willing to fight anybody because you young, you're 20, you fold them up, but then you know you'll bang with the best of them. But as you get older, you realize, you know what? I have so much more to do than to be wasting my time trying to try to get in, excuse my language, get into a pissing contest with somebody. If I can walk away, which everybody can walk away. Don't ever think that you can't walk away, especially when you're the one who wants to walk away. Like, you know what? This is going nowhere. I'm going to walk away. You can still walk away. I don't care what anybody says. You're not a punk. You're not a coward. And especially if you ain't starting nothing. If somebody's, you know, like a lot of people would they would try to say sneaky stuff because of my size. Like, oh, you're a big dude. I think I can take you. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you probably could. Have a good day. That's how you shut that down right there.
That's so good.
Really? Okay, cool. Like, good for you. All right, you done with the conversation? Because I am.
So, you know, Diego, I had the opportunity to work with Ryan Jensen over at Premier Combat Center. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. That being the first time ever exposed to jiu-jitsu. And what I learned from, you know, Coach Jensen and Coach Souza, just through jiu-jitsu, how to be graceful in high pressure situations, because there's moments you're on the mat, you know, you're tired, you're rolling and grappling with someone who could be bigger than you, or someone who's smaller, who might be a little bit faster than you, but it tests your endurance. That's what I learned about the sport. And he would also say, excellence is doing the small things on a high level. How do those concepts correlate to how you perform on and off the mat?
You know what? That's very good, because I feel like training in itself should not just reflect how you are on the mats. It should reflect how you are in life. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. They're only excellent in one area when they should be training to be excellent in both areas. Your training does not also dictate how you carry yourself, but how you treat and how you respect others. Your training reflects respect for yourself, the respect for the arts, because that's what that is. I feel with jiu-jitsu, and what I've really learned with jiu-jitsu, wrestling and judo, is patience. And learning, you know, once again, learning how to carry yourself. You know, there's times like just like in life, just like in jiu-jitsu, there's points where you're backed into a corner, or you have something on top of you that's just not going to go away. And you have to learn how to get out from under that without freaking out. When the pressure's on, you cannot freak out. You have to learn how to breathe, and you have to learn how to move and maneuver it so you can get in a better position. And that's life. We all get in places where we're stuck. We get in places where we feel like we're trapped, stuck, and we can't get out. But honestly, God gives us a way. God is that coach that's always talking to us, but we have to choose to listen. We have to choose to listen.
Make a decision.
It's the same as like with a fight. Like, if you notice in any fight, it can be mixed martial arts, it can be with jiu-jitsu, it can be with boxing. You notice, if you listen, if you're not just paying attention to the fight, if you actually listen to the fight, there are coaches talking to the fighters. There are coaches talking to the fighters. And God is that eternal coach that we have. He's all-knowing, all-powerful, and he's not going to tell us something that's going to hurt us. He's going to tell us things that are going to be like, this is benefiting you. It's going to benefit you to listen. So be patient, wait, not yet, go. There you go. You're out. There you go. Go.
I love what you said. Be patient. God will tell you, no, you're not ready for it. Because if you progress towards a goal that you don't have the capacity for yet, it could lead to injuries. Just like when we work out. When you first started training, you were in shape already. there's still a level, there's levels to our physical fitness. We can't skip those domains, because what happens is we decrease our ability to reach our genetic potential. And that same philosophy applies. It covers all aspects of our life. Sometimes God closes doors, not because he's mad at us or angry with us necessarily. It's because he knows what's best. He wants us to incubate correctly and prepare us for a new adventure in our life without experiencing unnecessary hardship. So tell us more about, I would talk more about the jiu-jitsu, some of your accomplishments. Can you tell our viewers about some of your accomplishments on the mat, and then maybe even some accomplishments, things that make you proud of yourself on the mat and off?
On the mat, like, I've competed in tournaments, and all the times that I've competed, I can honestly say I may have not gotten first place, but I've always placed on the podium. And I'm not the most athletic, but I've always been that person to work hard. Like, whatever I don't have in athleticism, I have in work ethic. Like, but at the same time, you have to surround yourself with people who see it.
I can attest to that, because I worked with this young man for a long time, man. He has an incredible work ethic, and
you have great coaching skills, and you level with everyone that comes through these doors. And even with your old facility, like, you could level with everybody. That's what makes you a great coach. The ability to level with people and be like, all right, even you've seen it, you've experienced it yourself. There's times where I've come through the doors and I'm just not myself, and you're like, like, okay, before we start, what's going on? We're gonna have to work through it. And then there's times where I would get frustrated halfway through the workout. You like, take a breather. Take a timeout. Yeah.
Just like in basketball, right? Sometimes, you in a hype, you going against, some adversity on the court, off the court. You need to take a timeout and reevaluate the situation.
And there's times where you've stopped me in the middle of a workout. You're like, put it down, breathe. Like, talk to me. What's going on? All right. Can you, and you'll ask me, can you continue? Can you do this? I'm like, yeah. And by the time the workout is done, I feel better, because let's say I'm social, but I'm not social. I'm social as far as, like, people, I can get along with people pretty great, but as far as, like, unloading myself on somebody or I really try to keep to myself, because my life is not someone else's problem. And I don't want to be a burden to people with my stuff. So, but like I said, with, like, on the mats, I've always placed on the podium, second or third, and people, and all the hardcore jiu-jitsu guys, they're gonna be like, oh, that's nothing to be proud of. Well, to me it is, because you're talking to a kid who came from nothing. So don't rain on my parade just because it ain't coming down your street. So it is what it is.
That's good.
So like I take pride in that. Also on the mats, like, I help teach like the lower level guys. And I help, like, intro into jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And then off the mats, man, I was in a real bad relationship, and mentally I felt like I couldn't go forward. But God has blessed me with my own apartment. I have my own ride. I'm about to finish my GED. I'm on my last leg with that. I do my final test May 11th. I have an awesome tutor. I just have awesome people in my corner, like you, everyone at Grace Apostolic.
Shout out to Bishop Barlow and Grace Apostolic Church, because that place changed the same way it changed his life.
I love you guys.
Changed
I
my life.
love you guys. I love you guys.
Yeah, amen.
I have, even people that I work with at my first and second job. And then I have family members that I talk to from time to time. And even the ones that I'm not able to reach out to, man, I see them, like, on social media, and they're doing so good. And to see them doing good, that inspires me to do better. So having those people in your corner, and to have the, people praying over you and people seeing the best in you, it encourages you, even, because because when you grow up being knocked down all the time, it's different when people say, hey, you're worth more. Hey, I'm praying for you. Hey, love you, man. I see what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. It's different. And it's a different atmosphere to be in, and you have to adjust. If anybody's seen like the Man of Steel, he quickly adapted to Earth's atmosphere, but when they took him into a Kryptonian atmosphere, it was killing him because he was not acclimated to that environment. When we grow up in an environment where we're constantly being put down, we thrive off anger and resentment, and we walk around with this chip on our shoulder. That's how we feel like we have to go through life. But when you are put in the atmosphere where people tell you that they love you, where people spend time with you, where people want to spend time with you, where people want to pray for you and keep up and want to keep up with your progress, not because they're being nosy, because they want to know what can they go to God for in terms of you when they're praying for you. It's a different atmosphere that you have to be acclimated to. And some people fold and some people accept it because they're like, you know what, this is different, but I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to see what this is really about. You know, so that's my experiences on and off the match, and just to be a better man. Like right now, like I'm working on myself. You know, I'm in the trades, I'm going to school, going to church, working 2 jobs, working on my jiu-jitsu, working on getting back into the tournament format, which hopefully May 4th, I'll be competing May 4th in Kansas City. But I'm learning how to take care of me.
So amazing, Diego. Tell us more about jiu-jitsu. Is it for anyone? Can anyone learn jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or is it just for competitive athletes?
Jiu-jitsu is for anyone who wants to learn.
What's the most basic skill or jiu-jitsu skill that someone should learn to protect themselves on the street?
On the street is learning.
Maybe it's not like necessarily a striking skill, but what is a concept that you learned in jiu-jitsu that any beginner could learn that will protect them in a situation where they need to defend their what they have, what belongs to them, or protect their life?
Always keep your head on the swivel.
Keep your head on the swivel.
And one thing.
What does that mean when you say keep your head on the swivel?
You're always checking your surroundings.
Check your surroundings. That's number one.
Especially at night. If you're working or you're somewhere and it's like dark, you always check your surroundings. You always count your steps. How to get from one place to another.
Okay.
And when you're in a verbal confrontation with somebody, try not to be the aggressor.
Yeah,
don't try to match them aggression for aggression. Hey, what's going on? What's wrong? Did I do something? Oh yeah, you did. No, I think you got the wrong person.
What's this scripture? I don't know exactly what scripture it is in the Bible, but it says, keep the sun up upon thy wrath.
Do not let the sun go down on your wrath.
Don't let the sun go down on.
Do not let the sun set on your wrath.
Yes, I said it incorrectly, but you get the concept.
And also,
say that one more time.
Do not let the sun set on your wrath. Basically, don't go to bed angry. Don't let. If there's learn how to forgive.
Learn how to forgive.
Because there can be instances where you're faced with somebody. You can be here at the gym, or you can be at work, or you can just be walking around the mall, and somebody's having a bad day, and somebody could bump into you and say something to you. And granted, they were in the wrong. You're, hey, I'm sorry. Hope you have a good day. And 2 things can happen. Either they can be like, whatever, man, or they can be like, well, hold on, I just bumped into this dude and he just told me have a good day. What's going on here?
That's good.
Because you have so many seconds in a day. Why waste them? Why would you let someone take time out of your day because something is wrong with them? Don't let somebody rob you of the time that you have each day. Like, you know what, if you have an issue, like, and it doesn't have to be a random person. It can be somebody on your job or somebody that you run into on a regular that just don't know when to quit. And you can just be like, you know what, man, all right, whatever. and go on about your day. Because I'm not going to let you rob. I'm not going to let you rob me of God's blessing. And every day is a blessing. So I'm not going to let you rob me of that. So you can be mad at me, or you can have whatever negative image that you want of me. I'm not fooling with you. But also, if you notice how I am right now, that's another way. When somebody comes up to you and they're coming at you as the aggressor, keep your hands here and here.
So if I go, ooh, he stay ready. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. That's what I love about this. Well, one of the hundreds of millions of things about Diego, I just love Diego. He's so incredible. So, Diego, we could go on and on and on with this podcast today, but I'd like to just ask one more question before we wrap it up for today. You started your day with a men's prayer. Do you mind sharing what that prayer was about with our viewers?
With men's prayer, oh man, men's prayer is, yes, we pray, but at the same time, we talk about the things that we are dealing with as men. We have young men who come in and they talk about the things that they're dealing with. And the one, like, us older guys, like, we give our insight, like the young teens, and then the guys who are like in the 20, 30 range, and then the guys who are like in the 40s and ups. And we just try to encourage one another, and we all get encouragement. And I do believe as men, we need to reach out more to one another. We live in a society now where if a man reaches out, or if a man tries to unburden himself with the things that he's dealing with in life, he gets laughed at, or he gets told, "Oh, I'll deal with it." It's like, man, there's just some things a man can't deal with on his own. Like, we have to learn, like, we lean on God first and foremost. We lean on him at all times. And at the same time, and second, we have to learn how to lean on each other as brothers and be like, you know what, look, I've been where you are. Or I don't know what you're going through, but here's the thing, you're going to be okay. Either I've been through it, or I don't know what you're going through, but you're going to be okay. And if you need someone to talk to, you can talk to me. Like, that's how we should be with one another, and more, because we live in a society now where men are under constant attack. Like, we can't even, like, it's gotten to the point where we can't even say, like, good afternoon or good morning.
You know what it is? It's the new you competing with the old you. Every time you grow, and that's the number one goal God wants for all of us, for me, for Diego, for you, is growth. And when you peel a different layer off of your spirit, or you move to a new level spiritually, the old self still wants you to operate in that capacity. And it's like a tug of war battle. And the only way to overcome that is fellowship with other men, other women who can help you propel forward, and leaning on God's word, leaning on his wisdom and not your own. That's what I'm learning. And I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't have it all figured out yet. I'm not perfect, but I thank God for men like Diego, Bishop Barlow, the other mentors I have in my life, my wife, my children, my parents. There's so many amazing people in my life right now who have helped me make good decisions that not only impacted me, but it's to be a blessing to others as well.
And another what I had meant when men are under attack, like, men, we can't even like be polite anymore without catching flack. That's what I had meant by that previous statement. But yes, like, it's the new us competing with the old us, because society wants us to be one way, but we can always be better. And we have to challenge ourselves to be better.
Always. I love how you said that. The only way you can become better is through the challenge. If you're not challenging yourself, you don't get better. That's amazing, Diego. Well, this was an awesome podcast, Diego. I appreciate you for being here. Your presence is felt. I hope they feel it over there on the other side of the camera. And you're just an amazing human being, and I pray that God continues to open up doors for you to succeed in every area of your life that you're in the process of building.
Man, I appreciate you, man. We've been we've known each other for a long time. It's never been a
This
negative.
is my brother right here.
You've always been an older brother to me, and man, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your patience. Like throughout the years, like even on times where I've slacked, you've been like, you've still been, hey bro, got to get back to it, and you've always stayed encouraging. You've never given what do they call it? You've never enabled me to do anything, but you've always challenged me to be better. So and I've always appreciated the challenge, and I'm glad that you've always thrown that challenge out there. Like, I'm not enabling you to do nothing, but I'm going to challenge you to be better because you always saw the potential in me, and you always see the potential in everybody else. So I am no exception to you're not going to let me slack off. So I thank you for being a brother. That's what it does.
Right here. The man. All right, that concludes our session today. Let's use his wisdom to challenge yourself and others to be better. And make sure you all like this video, subscribe to our TC podcast channel, and in the meantime, just have fun, keep joy in your spirit, and know that God has your back. Use his wisdom to guide every step that you take today, tomorrow, and the rest of your life. I will see you all soon.
See you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you, man.
All right, brother. That was